I think it's not crazy to say that it's over in terms of the title race for Liverpool. This was a bad performance from them, despite the controversial decisions, controversial refereeing decisions. And I think that's something that unfortunately Premier League fans have had to, get used to bad refereeing decisions in the Premier League. Premier League fans have had to get used to it because it happens so frequently. It really, really does. So coming off the Real Madrid results, the Aston Villa game, as a Liverpool fan, you'd be thinking, maybe this is going to be a spark to the season and is going to give them an opportunity to do something and win something, or start a good run of form for Liverpool. But this performance, I mean, as I said, despite the bad controversial, I mean, it was controversial. I don't want to say bad, but it was controversial decisions from the, referees in the Premier League. I think Manchester City deserve to win. And that's what's going to hurt Liverpool, because I think Manchester City I don't think Manchester City deserved to win this game. In the first half, Manchester City deserved to be 2 goals up. They really did. So it's a case of Liverpool not playing well. And I said this in the Liverpool versus Real Madrid match reaction. I think Liverpool played well, but I also thought it was a case of Real Madrid were so bad that it made Liverpool look good. It could have been that. And I was really believing that, because I think Real Madrid played so bad that, people just thought, Liverpool were just good. And I was going to use this game as a litmus test to see how good Liverpool actually were, because as I said, I don't believe they were as good as people were panning out for them to be against Real Madrid. And Aston Villa, as I said, they came up against Aston Villa, and Aston Villa were naive because they approached the game in the way that they shouldn't have approached the game, Aston Villa. And then they ended up, losing the match. But Jeremy Doku today, man of the match performance. I mean, I watched Jeremy Doku play. I see him come up against Conor Bradley. And, a lot of people have given Conor Bradley praise, and I will give him praise. He did play well up against Jeremy Doku, but Jeremy Doku was way, way too much for Conor Bradley today. And I look at that, and, I look at Vinicius Jr. I mean, I'm not going to focus on Real Madrid. I want to focus on Manchester City. This is a Manchester City versus Liverpool match reaction. I'm going to do a live stream today, or a live rant, actually, not just a live stream, a live rant on on Real Madrid in general, because we've dropped points today, Real Madrid. But as I said, I'm going to be focusing on Manchester City versus Liverpool. I think you look at the Liverpool side in the first half, there wasn't really any threat. To be very honest, there wasn't really any threat. And again, another match where Szoboszlai comes out, with his head held high, because he's going to take positives from this game. There was no negative in this game from Szoboszlai. There wasn't any bad performance from Szoboszlai. He played very well. The rest of the team can't really say the same for them. I mean, Florian Wirtz, I don't know where he's going to get his form. I really don't know where Florian Wirtz of Leverkusen and of Germany is at the moment, but he's definitely not at Liverpool. And I mean, Arne Slot, I don't know what his plan is with his player positions and the players he's playing. I don't know what Florian Wirtz is doing on the left wing. Why is an attacking midfielder who has never played in the left wing position playing in the left wing in this game, in a game of this magnitude where you need to win, or you need to at least get a positive result where you can look back and say, you know what, they've got some positives to take from the game, and you play Florian Wirtz in that position. It's very weird. It really is. There's a lot of questions you have to ask of Arne Slot, but as I said, Manchester City deserved to win this game, and the performance they put in. As I said, Jeremy Doku, from the start of the game till the 90th minute, he ran ragged. He was going crazy on Conor Bradley, Konate. They couldn't find anything. They couldn't find a solution to deal with Jeremy Doku, and that goal he scored, absolutely brilliant. And you look at that, and the Premier League table at the moment looks interesting. It really does. It really does look interesting, because at the moment, Arsenal are at the top, but Manchester City are closing in. And that drop point in the weekend against Sunderland, it's very, it's not an easy thing for Arsenal to take lightly, because at the moment Manchester City look to have found their form in a different way. they're approaching the game differently now, which is very, not like Manchester City. The way Manchester City have been playing, they haven't been playing that way this season, and it's a different approach. Erling Haaland is on form. I mean, at the moment, it's very difficult to find a way to stop Erling Haaland. Honestly, it's very, very difficult to find a way to stop the striker, because he's getting goals from difficult angles. He's getting headers. He's positioned. I mean, he's just a good striker, which is something, it's not rocket science. Erling Haaland being a good striker, it's a good performance for Manchester City today. And there's more questions for Liverpool because, again, Arne Slot, I said this in one of the match reactions. I don't think, Arne Slot really had a role to play last season. I know it is a bit, disregarding his input, because obviously Liverpool couldn't have done what they did without him. But, to win the league last season with basically Klopp's players, and come into this season and buy players, I know a lot of changes have happened. Trent isn't there anymore. Unfortunately, Jota isn't there anymore. There's a lot of changes. There's a lot of changes in the Liverpool team, and there's a lot of transition in the Liverpool team. New players coming in. I mean, Kerkez, I don't know where Kerkez is, because this is not the Kerkez we saw at Bournemouth last season. This is not the Milos Kerkez that Liverpool went in for. So definitely there's been a lot of transition and a lot of change. And I don't know. I don't know if it's fair to say it's going to take time, but I think it's going to take time, because you look at it and, to be honest, it looks like this is slots for a season. I think if you look at it now, actually, this is Slot's first actual season in the Premier League with his players and his vision and his, kind of build on what he wants the team to look like. This is Slot's first season in the Premier League, and it's not going well. It really isn't. His player, I mean, Gakpo on the bench, don't know what to say about. I really don't know what to say. Gakpo on the bench. Chiesa came in very late. I don't know why Salah was still on the pitch. I mean, Salah played well, but did he play well enough to be on the pitch as long as he was? It's a lot of questions. A lot of questions you have to ask Arne Slot. But I mean, you have to ask questions of the Liverpool players as well. As I said, Szoboszlai is the only one that I think comes off this game with his head held high, because Gravenberch, I've been praising Gravenberch, waxing lyrical about Ryan Gravenberch, and today he was bad. He wasn't good today, Ryan Gravenberch. Again, so many questions, kind of like Real Madrid. There's so many questions to ask. They didn't look dangerous at all today. And as I said, regardless of the controversial refereeing decisions, Manchester City deserved to win. Despite that, if the controversial decisions didn't come in, maybe Liverpool scored 2 goals, but Manchester City deserved all 3 goals. Manchester City deserved all 3 goals. So I think it was a situation where you look at it, and if you're a Liverpool fan, you don't really know what positives to take from this game, apart from Dominic Szoboszlai. From defense all the way. I mean, Konate, if this is how he's going to play when he comes to Real Madrid, he might as well just sign the contract at Liverpool. If you're going to play like this, expecting to get called up by, or to get signed by Real Madrid, you might as well, you're better off staying at Liverpool, because Real Madrid at the moment, they need players that are going to change up this, team. They're going to come into the team with that leadership and change things up. I really do think so. But yeah, again, as I said, I'm trying not to focus too much on to focus too much on Real Madrid and focus on Manchester City. And back to Manchester City, as I said, they have, changed their approach play. They really have. And Pep Guardiola, I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of Pep Guardiola. I do acknowledge his accomplishments in Barcelona, Manchester City, Bayern Munich, but I think he's been in situations where he's been gifted players in terms of the money has always been there to gift players. He's never really built a team from the ground up, like, selling a lot of not bad players, but like having to manage resources and stuff like that. But you look at this Manchester City team and the start of the season, you kind of look at it and you ask yourself, what's happening? This is Pep Guardiola's Manchester City. They've still got some good players. Why aren't they able to, salvage points or get points? And you can see now as they slowly started to gel together, because keep in mind, this is a new Manchester City team. Ryan Cherky's a new player in the team. Nico O'Reilly's a new addition to the team. There's a lot of different players in the teams, much like Liverpool. They've had a lot of changes into the team, and I think with that, it's going to cause a little disruption in the team. And I think he's definitely needs to get some praise to be able to take this transition team in a transition moment and be able to get them to where they are at the moment. And I think Erling Haaland also performing gives the team that morale boost. It gives them that confidence boost that, you know what, we can do our job, and Erling Haaland is also going to do his job. So it's just an overall confidence boost for the team in general. And I think it's really going to help them going forward. They have Champions League game coming. I don't know how far. As I said, if Manchester City, I think I said this in one of the games for Manchester City, if they win anything this season, it's going to be a surprise. Not in the sense that they don't have the quality of players to win anything. I think it's in the sense that they haven't had the best start to the season, and they've been able to, get to where they are at the moment. So again, if they win something major this season, be it the Premier League or the Champions League, I think it would be, I think it would be one of those situations where people are going to say, you know what, given the opposition that they're coming up against, given the teams that are in the, competitions that they're playing, they will have deserved it. And I think Manchester City is one of those teams where a lot of people don't give them credit. And, in the sense that they look at them and they're like, they spent a lot of money, and they have still spent a lot of money. It's not as if they haven't spent money trying to, build this team. They have spent a lot of money, but it's still a new team in that time. I mean, Donnarumma is a new goalkeeper. They've got new defenders, midfielders are new. Nico Gonzalez, a new player, scored a goal as well. So it's just one of those things where if they do win something now, it feels more deserved than it would have felt, a couple of seasons ago. But I think props to Manchester City, Erling Haaland performing well. And there's a whole lot of positives in that Manchester City team. But you look at Liverpool, and I think title race is gone. And you see, the problem now is with the title gone, because I don't think Liverpool are going to win the title unless they win the rest of their games till the season ends, because they haven't drawn a game this season as well. Unless Liverpool win the rest of their games till the season ends, it's going to be very difficult to see how Liverpool win the title. So in my mind, Liverpool have lost the title. I think Liverpool have just capitulated their chances of winning the title. But now they're not in the Carabao Cup. So Liverpool now have two opportunities to win a major trophy this season: FA Cup and Champions League. I don't think they're winning the Champions League. I don't think they're winning the Champions League anymore. And the FA Cup, Manchester City are still in the FA Cup. Manchester United are still in the FA Cup. The teams that have beaten Liverpool are still in the FA Cup, a la Crystal Palace. So now it's kind of, Arne Slot is stuck in a position of, what trophies am I actually going to win this season? What trophies am I actually going to, get myself in this season and actually perform? So a lot of questions for Liverpool. Do they have the answers to that question? I mean, we're going to see. Who do they have next in the after the international break? It's going to be difficult because, I mean, did they, I don't know if this international break, getting this loss going into that international break was anything positive. I think getting a draw going into the international break would have been more positive than getting this loss. I really do think so. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. As I said, I'm going to be doing a basically live rant, a live stream rant of Real Madrid and why, we are in a position that we are now. Because again, I watched this match, Manchester City, Liverpool, and I'm like, this is what we should have done against Liverpool. I don't think Liverpool were that good against us. I really don't think so. But yeah, we'll get into that in the live stream. I will schedule that right after recording this so that you guys can join in. And if you have some comments and some live chats, conversations that you want to start before I do start the rant, let me know. But yeah, I appreciate all the support. Let me know as usual. Any feedback from you guys would be greatly appreciated.